Every now and then, from time to time, we're blessed with an amazing clip or something catastrophic that happens in the House of Commons, such as Trudeau swearing, Trudeau yelling, Trudeau like literally losing his mind and going insane, Pierre Poilievre dropping some awesome bombs on Justin Trudeau or the Liberals, yada, 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 the list goes on. But today, a female Conservative member of Parliament, Rachel Thomas, absolutely went insane, like in a good way, against the Liberals. And the Liberals overreacted to something. The House Speaker went completely power tripping, muted the microphone, and just showed why he's had previous ethics violations, and it's all coming to light of the corruption that runs in Parliament within the Liberals and in our House Speaker. So welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I want to encourage you all to smash the like button and subscribe. We're on route to 100,000 subscribers here on House of Canada, which is absolutely insane. I want to thank you all for being a part of the community. And if you want to watch live question periods, then make sure you turn post notifications on, because I go live every single day and we watch that together, and the chat is absolutely totally fun. And as well as remind you guys that if you want one of these stickers or the stickers that are available on the website, the link for that is down in the description. Without further ado, here's this awesome clip. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.
People are getting ripped off by corporate grocery stores in this
Canada's
country.
next prime minister,
And in the north, it's on
according to himself.
1 liter of olive oil costs $36. Now, the federal government subsidizes corporations working in the north with a program called Nutrition North. The Nutrition North gives millions of dollars of subsidies to these companies. These companies take a third of it and don't pass it on to consumers. So will the Liberal government reform Nutrition North so the benefit goes to the people, not to the CEOs of corporations working in the north?
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Minister for Northern Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the member for that very important question. Our government is absolutely committed to ensuring that 100% of the subsidy, the retail subsidy, is passed directly to Northerners. We know that prices are too high in the north, and we have worked, we'll continue to work with territorial governments, with Indigenous partners, and more importantly, people who live in the north and the Arctic to make progress. Progress has been made, but there's a lot of work to do.
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Member for Burnaby South.
Program is an abject failure. C'est clair que les entreprises.
Clearly, big grocery in the north are ripping people off, and the government, through its subsidies, is giving money to these companies. And these companies, instead of helping people, are giving big gifts to CEOs and big grocery chains. So my question is simple. When will the Liberal government solve this program, fix it, so it's helpful for people and not CEOs? The Honourable Minister. Thank you. I'd like to thank the member for his question. Our government is committed to make sure that 100% of subsidies will go directly to citizens of the north. We know that prices are too high in the north, and we're working with the territorial government and with our Indigenous partners and people who live in the north and the Arctic to make progress on this file. And it's such an important subject, and there's so much work to be done, and we're going to do it. Thank you.
The Honourable Member from Foothills.
After 8 years, this Liberal NDP Prime Minister is not worth the crime, the corruption, or the cost. Sure. Common sense Conservatives will axe the tax because the NDP Liberal Carbon Tax Coalition has failed. They have not hit a single emissions target. But do you know who has succeeded? Farmers. According to the Global Institute for Food Security, the carbon footprint for wheat grown in Saskatchewan is 67% lower than the rest of the world. So why is the Prime Minister punishing Canadian farmers for this incredible accomplishment? Instead of blaming farmers for his carbon tax failures, will he not axe his plan to increase the tax on April 1st?
The Honourable Minister for Agriculture and Agri-Food.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And being a farmer, I fully understand
All right, Colonel.
the effect of climate change, Mr. Speaker. And we understand how important it is to take care of the land. That is why we as a government have invested $1.5 million to help farmers and processors reduce their environmental footprint and stay on the cutting edge. We will continue to fight climate change and work with farmers and ranchers right across this country, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member from Foothills.
The fact is, farmers are succeeding where the Liberal NDP carbon tax coalition is failing. And what is farmers' reward for this? A 23% increase in the carbon tax on April 1st. Common sense Conservatives will axe the tax and reward farmers for those accomplishments. Did you know that wheat grown in Canada can travel around the world 3.5 times before it has the same carbon footprint as wheat grown in Europe? Wow. Canadian farmers have accomplished this through innovation, not carbon taxes. Will the Liberals finally admit they were wrong, pass 234 unamended, and axe their plan to increase the carbon tax on April 1st?
Smash the like button, folks. Let's try and get to 500 likes if you haven't yet already.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just last week, in fact, I was visiting a farmer in Peterborough who is working on regenerative agriculture, but I find it...
Colleagues, order. The chair is having great difficulty hearing the response from the minister due to other folks taking the floor. I'm also hearing the member who asked the question having difficulty even hearing in his earpiece. So I'm going to ask all members, please, to keep it down. The honourable minister from the top.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do find it quite ironic to be lectured by the Conservative Party on support to farmers when at the end of last year, they voted against On-Farm Climate Action Fund to support sustainable agriculture. They voted against Dairy Innovation and Investment Fund for farmers, Mr. Speaker. They voted against funding in support of dairy, poultry, and egg supply management producers. On this side of the House, Mr. Speaker, we believe in our farmers, we support our farmers, and we help them to fight climate change.
Doesn't make sense.
You don't make sense.
The honourable...
That'll teach him.
The honourable member from Lethbridge.
Common sense Conservatives will axe the tax, build the homes, stop the crime, and fix the budget. That's what our commitment to Canadians is. Meanwhile, the NDP Liberal Prime Minister can't help himself but skyrocket the crime, increase the corruption, and of course he's just not worth the cost because he's causing it to go through the roof. But he's incredibly hypocritical because for him pollution is free. He can just jet set around the world while Canadians continue to pay. On April 1st, they'll see an increase of 23% on the carbon tax. My question is simple. Will the Liberals finally side with Conservatives and scrap the tax?
The Honourable Minister for Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, I think the most appropriate question is, will the Conservatives actually look at the data? The data will tell you that 8 out of 10 Canadian families get more money back and that it is actually an affordability measure. If the Honourable Member would actually look at the research done by the University of Calgary, she would know that. But, Mr. Speaker, I think Canadians really need to understand that the Conservative approach to climate change is to let the planet burn. It is to leave an impoverished environment and an impoverished economy for the future of our children. Shame, shame, shame.
Shame, shame, shame.
The honourable member from Lethbridge.
The contrast could not be more stark when it comes to the Liberals versus the Conservatives and their opposition to the Canadian people.
Look at the Liberals, man.
Once again,
you barely ever see them get up and applause.
The chair could not hear the question being asked by the honourable member, and that honourable member is actually close to the chair. The honourable member from Lethbridge, from the top.
It's shameful that my colleagues across the way would clap for a 23% increase in the carbon tax when Canadians insurmountable numbers. Millions of Canadians cannot afford to put food on their tables, and these folks over here stand and clap. That is shameful. When will they grow?
Grow up.
Whoa. You can call them to account.
You can call them to account. Do it.
You can call them to account.
Kick him out. Kick him out. Don't you mute the mic. Don't you dare mute the mic. No! Oh, my God. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Liberals are in trouble. This should be good.
So, time has come awfully close to the end of the honourable member's question. I'd like to reassure the honourable member the chair nor the table had heard a comment that was unparliamentary. So this is why it is.
Wow.
This is why it is very important to all members.
This is a little one-sided.
Colleagues, it is very important for members to not comment while a member has the floor. The recognized member has the floor. I'm going to ask the honourable member, please, to restrain
What is happening?
while I try to give an explanation to all members.
Bro, penalize the Liberals.
As I would for colleagues to be quiet so that the chair can hear the question, and if on occasion that members say something that is untoward or unparliamentary, that the chair or the table can hear that comment to making sure that things happen within an appropriate parliamentary tone.
That's it.
The honourable member from New Brunswick Southwest.
Wow.
You didn't get an answer.
I'm terribly sorry.
Bro, this is corruption at the highest level.
The Honourable Minister to resign.
The Honourable Minister to resign! He's beat the mic! He's gonna beat the mic! Oh, no, he won't. I'm sorry for laughing into the mic, man. This shit is so funny. Their little hooplas and procedures are always backfiring against them. Oh my God. Yeah, there you go. He mutes the mic, of course. Asking the honourable member to resign. Drop some W's in the chat, everyone. You can't make this up. House Speaker just ordered the member to resign. You can't make this up.
So, again, I'm going to ask all members please restrain. So I'm going to give the honourable member from Lethbridge 10 seconds to put her question left, if she chooses to exercise that, to allow 10 seconds left to ask her question. Would the honourable member from Lethbridge like to have those 10 seconds?
Really? Mr. Speaker, the minister across the way had something to say to me before. Perhaps they'd say it on the record.
Woo! Let's go. Bring the heat. Bring the heat. Holy smokes, totes my goats.
The Honourable President of the Treasury Board.
Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we agree that the contrast could not be more stark.
Yes. Tony?
More stark, Mr. Speaker, because of the Canada carbon rebate, we are putting money back in the pockets of Canadian. In the honourable members'
you ain't doing shit for
province,
Canadians.
Mr. Speaker, $1,800 will go back to Canadian and Albertan families because of the Canada carbon rebate, Mr. Speaker. $1,200 for Manitoba.
Just I want to remind members to be very judicious if they're going to quote from something, but otherwise it could be perceived as a prop. So I'll ask the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to continue. She has 6 seconds left on the clock.
Mr. Speaker, I'll close by saying that the leader of the opposition's climate denial would axe all of the rebates that we are giving.
The Honourable Member from New Brunswick Southwest.
Mr. Speaker, while common sense Conservatives will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget and stop the crimes, this NDP Liberal Prime Minister is not worth the cost, the crime or the corruption after 8 years. Canadians are paying higher prices because of sky-high taxes. Today in New Brunswick, we pay over almost 60 cents more for gasoline per litre than they do in neighbouring Maine. On April the 1st, the carbon tax is going to go up again, 23%. Will the Liberals axe the carbon tax and give Canadians a break? Yeah. Great job.
The Honourable Minister for Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, what do you call someone who says one thing and does the other?
A Liberal. Oh! Conservatives are just going and going and going.
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, you would say that they are acting hypocritically. The Conservative Party says they have principles. If you don't like, they have other principles. In their 2021 platform, on which every one of those members of Parliament was elected, the platform said, quote, "We recognize that the most efficient way to reduce our emissions is to use pricing mechanisms." The Conservative position is not only devoid
Read your script really fast, buddy.
but their position is the height of hypocrisy. How can Canadians believe anything these folks say?
The Honourable Member from New Brunswick Southwest.
Mr. Speaker, let's remember, these Liberals promised they would never increase the carbon tax by more than $50 a ton. It's skyrocketing up to $270 a ton. It's going to go up again on April the 1st. And voters in my district see that every day they cross the line to buy gas in Maine, 50 cents less a litre cheaper. On top of that, they're now collecting the HST and the GST on gasoline and energy prices, another $5 billion. When are these Liberals going to stop punishing Canadians and give Canadians a break?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
My colleague, the Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, just asked this member a question.
These freaking Liberals are they're just dummies today. It's awesome. Oh, this is amazing. He's practicing for when the Conservatives are in power.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
In the category of God forbid, Mr. Speaker, look, this member went around like all of his colleagues. Every single person who has asked a question in question period today went to their constituents' doorsteps with a brochure that says, elect us, we will have a price on carbon. How do those members now stand up with a serious face in front of Canadians